I was a stand-in for a colleague that was coming to India, and we were supposed to go together, and I ended up there by myself. FirstSource was doing a customer experience consultancy, and kind of looking at how could we improve customer service and what was the current state, some competitive analysis. And I ended up at FirstSource by myself without my colleague and ran through what you guys had produced, and it was really impressive. It was super comprehensive, and not having taken on customer experience yet with ETS, it was a really, really good assessment. It was very complete, very thorough. I think though, what led to maybe some next steps on that was when FirstSource went above and beyond. And so instead of just producing the output and saying, here's the output of the consultancy, I got to see kind of the inner workings. And I remember Ashish, after lunch, had put me in a room, and I can be a nightmare. And what you guys did is you put me in a room with keyboard level customer care practitioners, no managers in the room, no executives in the room, no script. Just put me in a room with a bunch of people that do real work every day and said, ask them any questions and interact with them. And what I saw, having been in, outsourcing and offshoring and global teams for a really long time, that's a huge risk. But the questions that were asked, the answers that were provided really told me and really gave me a sense that not only the competency was there, but there was a culture within FirstSource that was a little bit different. It wasn't the same kind of grind from a desk and you show up to a facility. There was a real camaraderie there, and there was a lot of expertise in that room that was not driven by management, and it was not scripted for a customer. It was just a free-flowing conversation. So, above the consultancy, there was a culture and just kind of an interaction model and a trust with the team that I hadn't quite seen in other places. The specific areas of customer care, we've been doing some AI engineers, some psychometrics, which is unique to ETS, getting some psychometricians into our what we're calling the GCC, or the Global Capability Center. Technical roles, your traditional IT roles, some like business analyst type roles, and we're looking at doing some remote proctoring roles as well, and that's getting ramped up. So a pretty wide array of different traditional and non-traditional types of skills that we're leveraging in the GCC. We definitely want to build a capability, globally in a number of different places, but India specifically is a focus for us in our market, and we're looking for a way to establish a presence there. And it was a meeting in July, I think it was late June, early July, where we met with our CEO and your CEO at the time, and there's kind of a challenge that was posed. Like, we would like to have a center set up before the end of our fiscal year, which was October 1st is when our fiscal year starts. And there was a commitment that was made in that room so that we can make it happen. And my experience is, that's June, July, August, September. That's 3 months. 3 months to establish. It takes 3 months to even start on the framework of a contract, much less have a functioning capability center with seats. But FirstSource pulled out all the stops, found space, allocated space, fitted out space, got it working. And so we actually had a functioning, ready for physical people to go and sit in and work over the course of really just a couple months. And we had access to, your real estate professionals, to talent acquisition professionals, to the HR professionals, to logistics. I mean, just that setup alone is typically, 6 months, a year, 18 months before you're like people ready. And it was ready in a matter of months to start recruiting. I think the growth and just the growth that's built on trust and transparency. So it feels like we're not transactional, and it's hard to see the lines between, and this is what we were looking for, right? It's hard that the lines between where the first source contractual remit begins and the non-contractual partnership starts, all kind of blended in together. And I think that's a huge success. I mean, that's one of the keys when we think about something new or interesting. First source is oftentimes the one we thought, do we think First Source can do something like this? Do you think we can help them with that? The other success is you guys are coming to us with things that we haven't thought of before. We're an assessment company. So, technology, AI, productivity, efficiency that is seen in other areas, in other geographies, in other enterprises or industries. We don't get to see that. But what you guys bring is that insight proactively. By the time we have to ask for it, it's probably too late. And you guys have brought things like the different components of AI and different advances in AI and different advances in technology, and just some creative thinking has come to us even before we asked. I think a great story was the virtual headsets. We didn't prompt that. That was an idea that came out of the Innovation Center. Hey, what would it look like if people could take an exam not using a headset and pen and paper or a keyboard? What if it was complete virtual reality? And not only was it proposed, but we showed up and there was a full demo that was ready to go for us to kind of take a look and see, what does that look like? What does that feel like? And it was real, it was tangible. And it wasn't something that we asked for. And so I think that's one example of the many things that on a routine basis we see, hey, did you ever think of this? And so those insights that come from other industries and other geographies that we would never have access to, we have access to it, and it's without being prompted. It's without being pushed. It's just a sign of partnership. Everything of value is built on trust. And so that trust that we have with you all, there have been many examples where these relationships aren't always, things happen in operations. And when we discover them, it's very transparent. We trust and know that the team is on top of it, taking care of it. We also know that, in operations, we're told about things that are happening, in advance and proactively. So that trust, that transparency, that's what I love. That trust where, from the time we started interacting, like, here's the team, go talk to them, interact with them. You don't need managers, you don't need executives, you don't need scripts, you don't need, questions that are pre-read and pre-vetted. Let's just work through it as if we were carrying the same badges and working on the same mission. And I think we are, regardless of the badge, and regardless of location, regardless of where the payroll gets processed. Feels like it's a single team. It feels like, and that trust is there.